All right, welcome everyone to a new episode of Weekly Predictions. Obviously, this week we're going to do week 10. I have not done them this year. I did them pretty well last year. And of course, we're going to dive right into it. So, we're going to start off with the Sunday games. Of course, today is Friday. So, the Thursday game happened. Carolina beat Atlanta 25-15, and really was a game that was competitive, although the teams aren't particularly good. Still, you enjoy competitive football, right? The first matchup is going to be a Germany game. Seattle at Tampa. Seattle is coming in at 6-3 off their crucial win against Arizona, really to solidify themselves right now as the best team in the NFC West, although we'll see if that's subject to change by the end of the season. And then Tampa coming off, you want to talk about critical win. I mean, Tampa comes off a win against the Rams where they really needed it. I mean, they've been struggling all season. Tom Brady's been struggling. And they come away with a kind of an unexpected drive at the end of that game to put it away. And Brady hit Cade Otton on a 1-yard kind of out route to win the game. And they moved to 4-5. I'm going to take, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Tampa. I don't think they've turned it around quite yet. I think it's just one game against a Rams team that's also been struggling. And I don't know if they can really run the football effectively, but at the same time, they still do have Tom Brady. They're still going to throw the ball a lot. And I think, you look at Seattle, they can cover pretty well in the back there. But when you got two guys in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin who are playing, at a pretty high level still, and then the defense I think is still stepping up for Tampa. Tampa's defense hasn't been that bad. I think their offense has been the subject of the season so far. And, when you're looking at this matchup, I think they can really get after Geno Smith with their pass rush. I know they lost Shaquille Barrett. They still got a lot of depth, a lot of great players. Kenneth Walker's been great for Seattle at running back, but when you go against Vita Vea and those guys, it's going to be hard to really run the ball against them effectively. I'm going to go with Tampa here in a close game. I would not be surprised if Seattle won it, though. Next up, one of the more unpredictable games of the week because of the status of Josh Allen. We got Minnesota at Buffalo. This, of course, from a record standpoint, is probably the best matchup of the week. You got a 7-1 Vikings team against, I think, a 5-2. No, they played the same amount of games. What are they? They're 6-2. The Bills. The Bills are 6-2. There should be a pretty interesting matchup. If Case Keenum starts for Buffalo, I think you got to go with Minnesota. I mean, it's such a big downgrade from Allen to Keenum. You talk about dual threat ability. Josh Allen's one of the better quarterbacks at that. So I know it's in Buffalo. I know that Case Keenum isn't a bad quarterback. He's not a terrible backup, but at the same time, the downgrade is significant. Buffalo is still dealing with injuries on the back end. They got Jordan Poyer out right now. Micah Hyde's been out for a while, and he's going to be out for the rest of the year. I really do think Minnesota can win this game, and I'm going to pick them to win it just based off the uncertainty of Josh Allen more so than anything. Although, even if Allen plays, I won't be surprised if they won. They've been playing really well this season. Next up, we got Detroit at Chicago. So, Detroit came off I'd say a relatively surprising win against Green Bay, although they've been really struggling this season. And then Chicago came off a tough loss against the Dolphins. This matchup's going to be interesting. It's a division game. It's in Chicago. I do think the Lions are a bit more talented than the Bears, but the Bears do have the better quarterback. I think their defense has been better, although not great as well. But I'm going to go with Chicago in a close one at home. Now, next up, we got Jacksonville, Kansas City. I think a lot of people, including myself, expected Jacksonville to be much better than this after they dismantled the Chargers in LA earlier in the season. Since then, they've won one game, and it was last week against a team that just simply can't hold on to the lead in the Raiders. So I'm looking at this game. Kansas City is obviously better. They have the better quarterback. They have the better team, quite frankly, better coach. I got to go with Kansas City. They're at home. I think this is an easy pick. Now we have Cleveland at Miami. Still no Deshaun Watson for Cleveland. He is suspended until week 13, so 3 more weeks. Jacoby Brissett. They're 3-5. They're coming off a bye. Miami's coming off a narrow win over the Chicago Bears. I think Miami wins this game, though. They're simply better on offense. I don't think Cleveland can keep up with them. I think the way they play doesn't really bode well with, going against a team like Miami. Although I do think they can run the ball well against them because they can really run it well against everyone. When you talk about Jacoby Brissett, Amari Cooper, Peoples-Jones, David Bell, those guys, can they keep up with Tyreek, Tua, Waddle, Gesicki, those guys? I don't think so. I think Miami has too much firepower on offense. I think defensively they'll do just enough to get by. And I do think this game will be competitive because I think Cleveland can be competitive with most teams. Just don't think they can win many shootouts. I think if it gets to that point, which I think it might, don't expect Cleveland to win. I think Miami wins this game. Then we got Houston at the Giants. Houston's coming off a loss to Philly in what was a relatively competitive game, I will say. And the Giants are coming off their bye week. The Giants are 6-2. I'm not really buying into them though, but at the same time, they're playing a team that I think is much worse than them. In Houston, they're at home. Houston has the worst run defense in football, and that bodes extremely well for a guy like Saquon Barkley, who has been great throughout the season, and then I think will continue to do, amazing things against this team. I'm going to go with the Giants at home. I think this game will be relatively competitive, but at the same time, the Giants will pull away with just the fact that I think they have enough playmakers on defense, and then, of course, the run game, I think, will take them to victory this week. Then we got New Orleans at Pittsburgh. This one's going to be an interesting one to pick because Pittsburgh's coming off their bye. They just got TJ Watt back, and that when he's healthy, that defense is completely different. They go from one of the worst defenses in football to one of the best. That's how good TJ Watt is. They're at home here, and if he's playing, I'm going to assume he's close to 100%, and I'm going to assume he has an impact similar to the one he had prior to his injury. It's a pec injury. I think he'll be fine. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. They're at home here. I think they can find a way to win it. New Orleans looks very uninspiring right now with Andy Dalton at quarterback, and their defense doesn't look particularly good. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh at home with Kenny Pickett. It'll be close because I don't think Pickett's very good right now, but I like TJ Watt's return to really put the Steelers over the top in this matchup. Then we got Denver at Tennessee. Denver is coming off their bye week. They had won the week before against Jacksonville in London. And then Tennessee is coming off a tough loss in a game I think they definitely should have won at Arrowhead, or wherever they call it now in Kansas City. I like the Titans here. I think even with Malik Willis, they can win this game. They've proven to be competitive with anyone, really. That's how good of a coach Mike Vrabel is. That next man up. And he's really been the only Patriots coach that's actually succeeded, or Patriots affiliate that succeeded elsewhere. I don't think he coached for the Patriots. I think he was with Houston before he went to Tennessee. But regardless, Tennessee, well coached, well prepared. Can't really say the same about Denver. They're not really well coached. Tennessee's got, obviously Derrick Henry, and even though Denver's got a good run defense, Travis Etienne was able to run all over them. Josh Jacobs did earlier in the year. So I think if those guys can do it, Derrick Henry most certainly can do the same thing. I like Tennessee in this matchup. Even though I think, Denver can run the ball relatively well in some matchups, this is not a good matchup for the run game. They're going to have to throw a lot, and then with the way Russell Wilson's playing, at least right now, I don't really trust them that much to win a game. So I'm going to go with Tennessee. Then we got one of the more interesting matchups, kind of in a bad way, because I don't know what to really expect in this game. One of the more unpredictable matchups of the week. Colts at Vegas. Indianapolis, two teams that, these are, well, no, not two teams who fired the coach. There was a fake report on Twitter that, because now they're verifying every account, it seems like, that from Adam Schefter, but it wasn't actually him, that Josh McDaniels got fired. So I got confused for a second. Frank Reich did get fired, though, and they hired Jeff Saturday, the Colts' new head coach. Very interesting decision. Personally, I think it's a tank move. I don't think they're really trying to win this year. I think they're done with the QB carousel of old, slow pocket passers. So I think they're moving on from that prototype. I'm going to take Vegas here. I think Vegas is healthier. They're better. It's hard to really explain what's happening with Vegas. They're up by 15, 14, 17 every game, it seems like. They're up by double digits. And then, you look away for 30 minutes. You look back at the game, and then, see Jacksonville's winning. Kansas City's now winning. And then who else was it? It was Tennessee. They lost to Tennessee. They blew a lead to them, I believe. The Cardinals, they easily could be 6-2 right now. But they're not, because they're not well coached. And because of that, they're not winning these close games. Still, though, they're playing Sam Ehlinger, who's really not experienced or particularly good for the NFL level. I think Vegas should win this game. If they don't, it'd be pretty hilarious, but I think they'll win it. They're better. They're at home, and Indianapolis is, I don't know what they are. I don't think they have an identity, and Neither do the Raiders, but still, I think they're more talented. Okay, Dallas at Green Bay. This one is a pretty interesting game as well. Green Bay has been a disaster the last really 6 weeks. I can't even say that win over Bailey Zappi was that impressive. Ever since they beat Tampa, they've been an absolute disaster this season. Their offense is struggling. Their defense has been okay, but I mean they've been on the field for so long. It's like you kind of expect them to be gassed out at a certain point. They've been that. So they need their offense to step up. But this really isn't a week that they can do so because Dallas is one of the more explosive defenses in football in terms of making plays. I think Dallas wins this game. They still have Dak. Obviously, they're coming off a bye. They're well rested. They're getting Zeke back probably. They have Pollard. Great defense, great offense, better team. I think Dallas wins. Now we got Arizona at the Rams. Very, very unpredictable matchup. Both starting quarterbacks could be out. So I really don't know what to say in this matchup. I think if you're going to go based on that, you have dwindled down to coaching and defense. The Rams have a better defense. Coaching, I mean, they're both pretty bad coaches. I'm going to go with the Rams, though. I think this is a pretty easy pick. Even though both teams aren't very good, I think the Rams are better. Give me the Rams. Okay, now we get the Chargers at the Niners. I'm a Niners fan. We've had such an up-and-down season. I've been pretty disappointed with it, considering our schedule. We're 4-4. The Chargers are 5-3. I'm going to take us to win this game. We're healthier. We have Christian McCaffrey now. We're getting guys back. I know we're getting Alshire back. We're getting Debo back. We're getting, I don't know if we're getting Armstead back quite yet. Jimmy Ward's fully healthier now. Of course, Jason Verrett. Another injury for him. I mean, really just have to feel bad for the guy. He's a really good talent, but I mean, as Chargers fans know, he's really dealt with injuries throughout his whole career. It really sucks because that guy's really talented. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing well enough to win some of these games. Herbert's obviously a better quarterback. Eckler's a good player, but I think we have too much on offense to overwhelm them, especially against their run defense, which is piss poor with McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell's coming back, and then Debo can run it as well. So I think we're gonna win this game. All right, last up we got Washington at Philadelphia. Washington is one of the most average teams in football. I mean, they're just simply average. Philadelphia right now I think is the best team in football. They're the most complete team. They have great quarterback play, really great play all around. I think they're at home here. They should easily win this game. They're a better team. Even though it's a division matchup, could be competitive, but at the same time, better team, better coached, better quarterback play, home field. A lot going for Philly here, and I think they win this game pretty easily. Okay, so that's going to do it for week number 10 of the NFL predictions. I'll catch you guys in some other videos later on this week.